Hi, this is Chung Dha, and in this video I will show you how to build a camera jib or a crane. At the end of this video I will give you details to a giveaway where I'll be give away some of the pre-assembled parts for this camera jib, so you can build up your own camera jib with this method and these parts. However, first I will show you how I'll put together this first version that I built. However, I will give you actually a instruction video that is actually building the Mark II, which has more refined parts and also has a lot of improvements over this first version. And I'll be actually filming that one while I'll be making it. And it has a lot of easy things that you directly buy, and actually it's more about aesthetics. It looks very professional and it's very easy to put together. You only have to drill through plastic, which is much easier than drilling through metal. So it's a very easy build for a lot of people and very easy to set up. So let's start. So now we finished setting up the crane. So I will explain some of the parts. Basically this design, it tilts by actually following these wires. These wires are actually washing line wires or washing line cable. And this one is green, so it's not as noticeable as having a metal wire or a different color. And green is closer to this one is a darker green, so it's closer to black. It's possibly even better if I had the black clothing wire. And basically, because of the wires, it can stay leveled on that side. And basically it follows this head. So when I tilt this pan head on that side, it will also tilt, which makes it easy to do special maneuvers where it pans or tilts up when it's low and pan or tilt down when it's up. And I can move it also just when it's still. And yeah, it's a very simple design. And yeah, the monopod I'm actually using, it's a Falcon RUP L43, which can handle 8 kilograms. So you do need to have a strong monopod to do this setup and not buy any cheap ones, because it has to carry a lot of weight, because you have weight on that side and you have the counterweight on this side. And adding up, if you have a heavy camera, it can become roughly around 10 kilos. So you do want to have a strong monopod to hold this setup. And yeah, so that was basically the first version. The second version will have some improvements, as here I have just the clothing wires just tied down with a screw. And this setting up this, you often have to like pull up the cord so this side is loose and then pull it tight. However, yeah, if you forget about it, sometimes this under one, the lower one, will be looser than the upper one. And for that I have a special setup so it can tighten the wire easily. But you could just manually just pull this up. And basically loosening the wire is just moving this monopod, extending it or putting it back together. But the problem with using the Falcon has a ball head, which I then use a quick release from Manfrotto between it, which makes its offset a lot. which isn't a very big problem, but being also very thin, this monopod, the clamp for it is also a little bit not straight. But all in all, while using it, it's okay, but aesthetically wise, it looks like it's not 100% looking that perfect. So that's why I'll be making a version 2, which is more expensive, as most parts or the monopod will be replaced with a Manfrotto one, which costs a lot. And then also, instead of just a quick release, we'll be using the Manfrotto 234, which is a tilt head, which also have a quick release. And the reason why I have a quick release on this end is also slightly because of I'm lazy, but also able to get this whole head, this whole section off while I want to travel, and it makes it slightly smaller. So able to remove this whole part. But if you think like it's dangerous to have it on a quick release, it's not really, because the Manfrotto one has actually a security lock, so you can basically lock it basically have a double lock, so it's more secured. So this is all the materials that we need to build the camera jib. I've already pre-assembled some of the parts. This is one of the pulley wheels that I pre-assembled. I already driven the screws or bolts and nuts through it. So basically you only have to screw or make 2 holes in this pulley, or drill 2 holes. And I'm using M5 bolts through it, and I use washers and also nuts to be spacers, so it doesn't or give enough space for the bigger bolts. So yeah, let's start. So the first thing we start with is this. This is the Manfrotto 200 PL plate. So this we will disassemble. Rubber plier, and there's a ring that basically locks it. Okay. So when you got this, you see there's a big hole through it. Through there we put, this is the M8 bolt, and it goes through that pretty easily. And then take, actually, first put one of the M8 nuts through it. And actually you see here is a what people call a lean setup. Basically you have everything put nicely in order, so you can easily see where is what. And turn that tight. Okay. So that's, now it's tightly on there, and put one of it. So what it does actually is I'm putting one of the pulleys onto here. So should be enough. Okay. There's actually 2 of them here. So there needs to be 2 nuts here to basically build up the space. Okay. Nice and tight. Then that basically builds up the first part. And also, if you can see, there's enough, should be slightly enough space to move around. So she already put the whole bracket on there. So these 2 brackets are actually Falcon TMB 16. So these 2 brackets together are 2 double L brackets. So the Falcon TMB 16T. So now we put these on there. Put these spacers here. Then grab small so you can see there's enough space between there so it doesn't touch the bracket. It's tight too. And then to finish this more aesthetically, add these bolt caps. And also it's for the protection if your camera would touch this, that it doesn't get scratched and yeah, don't have a sharp edge from the bolts. So this is the front part that is done. So now to the second one, which is a bit more difficult to do. So first thing, we take apart this. This is a boom arm adapter, and I'm using this so I don't have to destroy the monopod, and also make it much easier to put together. First thing is we don't need this one anymore. This one we will replace. And okay. And then we'll use this one, the bigger. So okay, so there we go. This one goes directly here, and one bolt, well, actually 2 of them. Then second one. These are nice and tight. So how this will work is, here we have the Manfrotto 600 or 679B, and the Manfrotto 679B is actually a very heavy duty monopod. It can actually handle 10 kg of weight, so it's much stronger than the Manfrotto. So, and it actually can extend quite a long bit. And we actually already marked off where I wanted to have the whole thing. So the thing is, this holds the Manfrotto pretty well, but there is an issue. It holds it, it's just a it's a snug fit, but there's like a micron of space between it. So it literally holds it, but there's like still easy to turn around. So need to have a bit of friction or increase the diameter of the monopod just by a little bit. So here we have electrical tape, black electrical tape. Also, it's a bit for the aesthetic that it looks much better because it's also black. But also this tape, if you ever just want to have a monopod again, that it's much cleaner, or much cleaner to get rid of the tape. Just wrap the piece of tape around it. Well, increase this diameter just by a little, plus because it's rubber, it will give you also much more grip there. And also a thing you need to know is to put it the right way, as here the head will move to one side, tilt to one of the sides, and probably want to have the logo shown on top instead of being on the bottom. Okay, and then put this also. There's a reason why I'm putting it on the bottom instead of on the top. Being on the bottom, yeah, there's a reason, because you need to also adapt the height of this setup for your pen head, and certain pen heads the heights are different, so you have to readjust. But I found that mine would be better if this part be the leg, or the monopod be on the lower part of this. However, you can change it the way you want. Okay, so now it's really tight. Okay, so have And also you have to already align everything. Okay. I might need to remove a little bit because it's not slightly too thick. So it's now 2 layers. Okay, that's much better. And from this side, and this goes in here. There's only one thing is, even though it's the same size, but this top seems to be slightly bigger, and they can't seem to find nuts that are similar in size. So then from there you just and also here we can actually already put this on here. And lock it down with the lock pin. So you can actually better align everything. It looks like it's okay. Okay, so to finish it off, you could also replace this with a non-rubber spacer, because this will give a lot of grip. If you have like a metal or a nylon, it'd be less grippy, and it will actually, if you put this setup onto a light stand, it will be much easier to do the tilt. So okay, here we go. And just put these back together. Yeah, that. And this. First put. Okay. I've got a washer down here. There's also a metal washer here. Actually, I've got one thing. Here you can see it's just a plastic pulley, but being plastic, it doesn't give you much grip. And the thing is to put a rubber, yeah, just a rubber band between it, and it will just give enough grip to grip the wire. If you don't do that, it just will slide easily, and basically it could slide too much. With extra grip, it's better. Yeah, it'd be better actually with a black rubber band. Aesthetically look much better, but I couldn't find black rubber band at my place, so. And also try to put it there without getting without it twisting, which is slightly hard to do. You just want to untwist while you do it, or you just use a plier afterwards to untwist it. Okay, there's no twisting there, so. Okay, to finish this, 2 washers. This here, that. So these are just normal 1/4-inch holes. So basically you can put this onto a tripod easily, and also add accessories like a magic arm. Just screw in here. So you can basically put on different stuff. So I'm putting it into the top hole, because I kind of know this area, this point be the same height where the tripod of mine also turns. So you might need to adjust higher or lower for the tripod that you use. Now add spacers. I'm mainly adding the spacers be more grip. Actually, I might need to place this one with a small spacer, because the previous one I didn't put it up here, so it had much more space for the spacers. So the moment I changed the design or aligned it better with the tripod, this one is like really little space between the bigger bolt, but it's still okay. This work? Okay. Don't need the extra. Okay. So that was that. Back onto here. Okay, so another difference between the old design and this one is that I'm adding this, so I can actually tighten the rope or the cable. So here we have a washing line cable. I always have to figure out how this is tied together. Okay. And the reason I'm using this instead of using a normal rope, I've used rope before, and the main difference is that rope has a tendency to have, like, it's not as smooth in movement. It has, like, it's more bumpy because of how it's made together. So it's going to become a slight mess because it's really hard to handle these cables. It's like in a slight knot. So you basically have to measure this. Okay, had that twice, and then probably want to have a little bit more. And cut this. You better with a wire cutter, but I don't have one. To say this is harder to cut than you might think. It's mainly because inside this are metal wires. Kind of have to break them instead of actually cutting them. Okay, so here we have the cable and the stuff. So it's better to have the basically you wrap around it. You can see that because of the grip I can easily rotate those two. It's not what I wanted to do, but make this work. And instead of actually tying this into a knot, I'm going to basically use these to clamp it down, so I get a much cleaner look instead of having. Okay, so basically it has to be a double loop to make it work. one side. That's nice and tightened. Okay, so it's quite hard to actually get this, but the first tip is just try to make this as loose as possible, this thing, which in the end will help a lot. And wrap this around as tight as possible, and you know where to have the loop. Put this here, and throw in an extra loop inside, strengthen the grip. Tie it down. So this be actually this part is always the hardest, getting the rope to stay between the thing. There we got it. Okay. Oops. That's a very snug fit. And then you want to snip away this little extra bit. Okay. And you might see this lower part might be a little bit loose, and then you basically twist this to tighten the rope as much as possible, which also gives it extra grip. And I did it upside down. So we finished making the wire, and now so this now makes the wire actually much easier to put on, and because of the grip of the rubber band, often makes it that one side is more slack, and it's better to have it slack on the bottom and able to tighten it. So you remove all the slack of the wire and also give it more grip and able to get a much better result. You can see both sides turning. And basically you could put this onto a light stand and use this to control, or have this onto a tripod with this and basically tilt the tripod head. Another thing I have to say is you might want to also buy a macro adjustment or a macro slider to basically put the center of gravity much better on here, because if you put a DSLR on here, the center of gravity is mostly more forward, so it might want to drop down forward if you put this setup onto a light stand. But if you put this onto a tripod, it will counteract it, because the rubber band does give enough grip to hold it in place. But it's be also better just to have a macro adjustment adapter. But that would make this setup even more expensive than it is, because we're now using quite a lot of money to actually build this whole setup. Because the price for this whole setup be roughly around 160 or more, depending mostly on the tripod or monopod that you're using. Because I'm now using the 679B, which costs brand new like 80 bucks. However, I bought this for secondhand 20 bucks. So on my version is much cheaper than 160, but if you bought everything brand new, it would cost you around 160. And I have to say, monopod is, if brand new, is 80. If you're lucky, able to get secondhand. I had this pen or tilt head from Manfrotto, the 234 RC, which is with the quick release. And then these two are the Falcon Eyes TMB 16T is, and this tilt head cost brand new probably 40 around, I think 30 to 40 bucks. These two brackets cost you together probably also 20 bucks. These two pulleys together were like 15 bucks. This part here, it's 20 bucks. This boom arm adapter, and the rest are pretty few bucks that you can buy pretty cheap. But all in all, it's very professional looking, and it's already painted, so you don't have to paint it black. But there's a cheaper option you could go for instead of the Manfrotto monopod. You could buy a Falcon Eyes boom arm, or there are several boom arm for professional studio lightings that have this setup, this part already, and most of them can hold a pretty heavy studio light. So those also are very long. They can extend to 2 meters. So this setup is much smaller though, because I want to have a more compact setup I can carry easily around. Because the 2 meter setup, if it's collapsed, it's still like 1 meter 20 or something. So it's a very long boom arm. So, but those you can also like get a full boom arm set with like weight and everything for around 30 to 40 bucks, which means you have multiple parts already there to make this setup even cheaper. Okay, so yeah, let's actually try and try out this setup outside and film some location shots. So this is now the finished product, and it's mounted on the tripod via this bracket, which has the mounting holes of 1/4 inch, and yeah, it works quite well. You can easily just do a simple jib and crane movements. However, I placed this part much more in the middle now, and mainly so I don't have to carry too much weight. Because mainly I don't want to have like 5 kilo of weights in my bag. Now it's just 2 of these weights, so it's around half kilo one. So I just carry about 1 kilo extra of weight instead of having to carry a lot of weight. So it also does the tilt, and it's mounted here. There's also more 1/4 inch mounts, and I mounted here a magic arm and a light, for example, if you want to put a monitor. But the only thing is, if you tilt, the whole thing would move, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And also the other thing is I haven't been able to set up to align these two axes to be identical, the same. So if I'll try to pan it or tilt while it's stationary, it does have like a slight jump into it because it's not exactly the same. However, if I would actually tilt while moving it, you won't feel that jump, which is much smoother. So it's still quite usable to tilt, but not while it's a static shot. Another thing is, because I'm using ball bearings, it's not going to stay like up in one position. So when I release it, it will just be bouncing around. But mainly the crane shots is not really to use as to film a static high shot or a static low shot. It's mainly to use for that one shot, moving up and down. So that is not a big issue. And you could put a head on here, but because there's no drag, it might be hard to do a tilt on a head directly on here. But if you be using the head just to move around, it'd be still easy to do it. I have to say, this setup is not cheap, so building this still costs you roughly around 100 bucks, depending on which of the materials you use for this boom. The rest is quite affordable, but it's mainly the boom arm that could cost a lot or not. And mainly the end here, I use the Manfrotto head, and yeah, it just makes it easier. And if you want to use the monopod again, it's a bit of a hassle to get it out, but it's not a destructive yeah, build, so you can still easily remove everything. Yeah, you could actually just use it as a monopod just by removing this and putting a camera on this tilt head, but you still have like this section attached to it, which might be in the way of your work. And also there's one issue I had to fix while after testing it. In the video where I put this together, I was using electrical tape, but the electrical tape wasn't giving actually grip. It was actually making it yeah, able to turn and twist this monopod a lot. So to actually add grip, I basically used rubber bands. I wrapped 2 rubber bands around it and then clamped this clamp around it, which actually give it a lot of grip, but I can't even turn it by hand. So it really gives enough grip for yeah, for a good heavy load. So, but I probably think the heaviest still be a yeah, just be a normal DSLR of Rebel range or a mirrorless, and not really be useful if you would put like something like a Blackmagic Cinema or anything heavier. So it's more for yeah, DSLR users than real, yeah, big cameras like Alexas and all those. For those, you probably have enough money to buy an actual expensive camera jib. But this for me be quite useful for a lot of filming, and it's a much lighter setup to bring along and easy to set up. And yeah, for the looks of it, it's aesthetically it still looks quite good. Only thing is I might not use this part because of the looks of it, but it is quite useful to tighten the cable a bit more on the bottom, as the top would have a lot of tension, and then the bottom is very loose. So it's probably better to able to tighten the bottom. I can't find anything that is smaller than this size, and this is pretty huge, but it doesn't really get in the way of any size because it doesn't move that much. So I think that was mainly it explaining about this. So let's look at some of the footage. Okay, so now you have seen what you can do with this camera jib, and you can actually get a nice yeah, jib shot, and also get an extra dimension in the shot by actually tilting it up and down while you are filming. And yeah, you can, or actually in the beginning I promise you I'll do a giveaway, and I will give away these parts so you can build your own. Literally only thing you would need extra would be a monopod and a tilt head or a quick release from Manfrotto, and you will be able to put this together. So you will get the quick release plate of the Manfrotto with it. It's already pre-assembled, so mainly the front part is all pre-assembled together, and you just have to click it in. And yeah, for this part you probably need to disassemble this a bit and yeah, reassemble it. Just follow the video, and yeah, it will be a quite easy build. So only thing you have to do is just need to buy either a monopod or a boom arm. So how can you actually win these parts? So to win these parts, you just have to subscribe, comment below why you want to have this, and also like this video or give it a thumb up. And yeah, on the 15th I will pronounce who would get this, and I will try to send this out and get it to you before Christmas. Also depends on where you are, because I have to send it out from Holland, so it might take a while. And yeah, if you are lucky be chosen in Holland, it will be pretty quick send. And yeah, I will also give like a few smaller things with this also, like this hook for example. The cable, you probably I could give you like a few meters of these cables. And yeah, that was mainly it. Yeah, so that was it. So if you like this video, please subscribe to see more upcoming videos. If you want to yeah, see more videos or have any questions, please comment below. And yeah, if you really liked it, give it a thumb up, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.